I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Dude, are you okay?
I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this and I will take that ride home.
If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in 1 day, guaranteed, and Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here to the National Racing Network and our live coverage of the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. My name is Chris Graham. Joining me in the booth, the runner-up just a minute ago in the Grid Rival Ezra IndyCar Series event at Road America, Mr. James Watson. James, congratulations on the second-place finish. Some concerns about the start of that one, but looking ahead here to this race, this place is tight, bull ring as you can get for a road course, almost reminiscent of Lime Rock a little bit.
I've always loved this track. This is one of the best tracks on the whole circuit. I'm really interested to see how these top-tier drivers are able to make moves at this place. It's kind of like what we were dealing with a few weeks ago at Brands Hatch, just on steroids, trying to make these little moves with just that little bit of space.
Yeah, there's not much to go around here, that is for sure. And we'll bring up the graphics package here and show you where everybody's going to be going in qualifying. As always, a monster field for this one. Strength of field, how about 35.89 out of a 20-car split, 40 cars in total on the entry list.
Sheesh.
Yeah, Simon Fell is the lowest I-rated driver in here at a 23.61. The number one plate tonight belongs to, once again to Ed Samborski at a 73.62. Graham Sanders is the 2 over 7,000. The 3, John Batafer, he's only a 6,400. This is going to be wild.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like, we had such a show put on last week at Sebring with all these guys. I can't wait to see it here at, like, a track that's almost half the size.
Oh, man, and things are getting tight at the top of the board, too. Alex Mariani checking in saying, let's go, Mike Holler. How about a quarter of a second separating less than 2/10 separating first through fifth on the board right now? Everett Paddock, John Batafer, Graham Sanders, Ted Burns, Ed Samborski. Oh, my goodness. And, oh, by the way, 4-car championship battle. We're not even to looking at drop weeks yet, of which John Batafer has used one. That's why he's currently sitting fourth in points.
We've got less than 200 points separating the top 4 right now.
This is absolutely incredible. You can't ask for a better championship. And with no gimmicks either. Looking at you, playoff system.
Yes, no fake racetracks and football stadiums here. Graham Sanders staying at the top of the chart. Sam Borski jumps up to P2. Oh, my goodness. How about 6/1000ths separating first and second? Ted Burns, John Bedifer, Everett Paddock, David Porcelli, your top 5. The top 4 in points, all in the top 5 in the race here. Nagisa Yoshikawa moving himself up to the 9th position, waiting on one car to finish qualifying, and that is Jason Owens. And he's just about finished his qualification run here, too. And we'll see where Owens is going to move to. David Porcelli jumping up to 4th. Owens moving into the 20th position. And that'll be all she wrote for qualifying, already done here in qualifications at Summit Point. Actually, maybe not, because some of these drivers do have the opportunity to get what amounts to a 3rd lap in, because of where pit lane and the start-finish line and all line up.
Yeah, that's true. The finish line being after pit exit does tend to make things a little cattywampus.
Owens letting the back end of that race car hang out. Coming from a racetrack at Road America. Oh, I think the lap may not count for the off track. But we'll see here. A racetrack at Road America that had 6 sectors in it. We come here to Summit Point Raceway that has a total of 3. We'll get you the race info back up here again. It says it's 2 miles in length, but that is deceptively long. It really amounts to 3 pretty decent blasts of full throttle, a hairpin, and a twisty bit. Get you the results from qualifying, because these numbers are going to be fun to look at. 13,000ths separating Graham Sanders and Ed Samborski at the front of the field. Less than 2/10 separating the top 6. Everett Paddock was 2nd after the first lap. He's 0.119 back and will line up in 6th. This is going to be unreal at the front of this field. However, lap traffic could very well come into play here as well over the course of this race.
Is now the time to start yelling blue flag, blue flag?
Yeah, I've got offensive music lyrics bouncing through my head here. Something about move and get out the way. We'll see how this is all going to play out here. Oh man, that's this is going to be a blast. Let's get you the starting lineup for tonight's 20-car field here at Summit Point. First visit for the National Racing Network here. Graham Sanders and Ed Samborski on row number 1. Ted Burns, David Porcelli going to occupy row number 2 for the start of this one. John Bedifer, Everett Paddock on row 3. Kylo Ciacelli, Giancarlo Schooler on row number 4. Row 5 will see Nagisa Yoshikawa and Mike Holler. Row 6, Frank Wynn and Chris Preston. Row number 7, Jeremy Rogers and Nicholas Daly. Row 8, Brian Labarge and Rod Eskew. Mike Carpenter, Russ Addy on row number 9. And on row 10, Simon Fell and Jason Owens. 20 cars scheduled to take the green flag here tonight for a 28-lap race. You heard that right, 28 laps around the road course here at Summit Point. Does that change the way you think about this at all, James, knowing that the lap count, I mean, we were at Sebring last week, and it was like a 15-lap race. It feels longer than it actually is.
It really does. That's what's always thrown me off. It's like you think it would feel the same amount of time, given that it's a small ass track. But no, those longer lap races feel like an eternity, even if the track is really small like this one.
So we've already made it through the hairpin, which is turn number 1. You make the short blast up. There's a kink up to the left, and then you get into the twisty bit up here. A right-hander circles fairly far around, then you snap right back to the left. This really is going to be one of the few passing zones, but you have to set it up well in advance.
Yeah, it's going to be... that's why I'm interested to see how these guys are going to pull off passing. And then you're not even really taking into consideration that the long straightaways are going to bring the dirt into it.
I'll tell you what, James, we're already seeing some games here. Graham Sanders bringing the field down very, very slow. Ed Samborski wasn't taking it. The gap to the pace car is huge at this point. The trouble for Samborski is he can't get to the start-finish line ahead of Graham Sanders. But Sanders is so far back from the pace car. I mean, this is almost protestable, is it not?
It is. I'm not sure that's something you really want to do and risk on a broadcast race, but to each their own.
Green flag's out. We're underway. Sanders grabs the early lead. 3 wide down the front straightaway.
Whoa!
Oh, man. Teddy Burns bouncing it off the curbs. He's going to hold on to third.
Man, you got to give credit to Teddy. He was going for it.
Yeah, he nut up, ball out early in this one. Betafer and Burns going to battle for second. Burns going to grab it around the outside. Nice pass there. Sets him up inside. That's sort of what we talked about. You could be on the outside. Oh, and there's contact! They go around. They're wadding the whole field up. Everett Paddock's going to be involved.
Oh, my God!
Carnage! Absolute carnage! Multiple cars involved. We're going to get you the replay on this one.
What is happening?
Good Lord, they junked them all.
I'm sorry, but what did we just witness?
Oh, my goodness. Everett Paddock taking the tow. Chris Preston taking the tow. Multiple cars heading for pit lane. Giancarlo Schooler, Frank Wynn, Ted Burns, all making their way down pit lane. And could that be it? Could it be game over? 2 laps into this.
Look at that. Almost half the field is on pit road right now.
Yeah, Ted Burns is on pit. I don't even think we have a camera available that's going to show pit road cleanly here. There we go. Now we got one. There are a ton of race cars, and this has huge championship implications. Ted Burns is on pit road. David Porcelli, John Betafer, Everett Paddock, Chris Preston. 4 of your top 5 in points are on pit road.
This is absolute madness.
Let's go back and show you the replay here. See what happened. Basically, it was quite frankly, a silly dive up the inside by John Betafer, and everybody else just had nowhere to go.
Yeah, it's a bit of an optimistic move on John's part. Like you can see Ted start to angle over right there. It
almost looks like there may have been some net code there in getting that car snapped around, but
there was net code, but it would have been a bad incident nonetheless. That
yeah, not a smart move on lap 2.
No, I know we were lauding Teddy there for a lot of his aggressive moves, but like, you don't really want to see that level of aggression on the first lap of the SOF race, because, yeah, no one wants to see half the field wadded up before we even complete the lap.
Let's now pick up a good battle we've got developing here. Nagisa Yoshikawa and Kylo Ciacelli. That's Ted Burns trying to get up to the inside and work his way back up, but he's going to be a lap down to these cars. Everett Paddock finally leaving the pits after 2 minutes and 39 seconds of repairs.
Man.
1 minute 19 seconds of repairs for Chris Preston. John Bedifer back on the racetrack, 42 seconds, 42 for Ted Burns. Frank Wynn, Giancarlo Schooler going to be ahead of Ted Burns at this point. And now the real question becomes, how good are these cars going to handle?
Well, probably a lot of them ended up with wing damage, so that's an easy fix. 5 seconds in and out, your car is pretty much good as new. For some of the other cars, like Everett, having to spend a lot more time, they had a lot worse damage, so probably nowhere near as good. Definitely floor damage, and considering that the entire field accordion, probably a lot of rear diffuser damage as well.
So looking at this battle here, Jason Owens, Mike Carpenter, and Nicholas Daly fighting for position. Owens going to give the spot up. Oh, man, almost some contact there from Daly. We kind of figured this could happen here. I mean, this is bull ring kind of racing. David Porcelli still on pit lane. And it looks like he may be out of this one.
Yeah, I think we expected some chaos, but ain't nobody was expecting this.
Yeah, let's take a look at the comment. Yeah, comments are blowing up. Jeremy Rogers talking about the groupings here in qualifying. Very tight in the 105.3s. East Raider giving some love to the geodesic cars. And then the comments started to roll in. Bree Tirano, East Raider, Dave Sparks, you win comment of the night. Get out the Drano. That shit was clogged. That was horrid. Niege Camargo, hopefully, I'm sorry I butchered your name, bud. Guess that was the big one. Yeah, that's putting it mildly here. Let's reset things now at the front of the field. Graham Sanders is the race leader, but the gap is now down inside of 1 second. Back to second place running Ed Samborski. In all of that carnage, 1 and 2 did not change positions, which is just almost comical. Mike Holler is running third, up 7 positions. Nagisa Yoshikawa running in the 4th position. Called about 5 seconds behind Mike Holler. He's got Kylo Ciacelli running 0.8 behind him. Kylo up 2. Rod Eskew up 10 to run in the 6th position. Russ Addy, your hard charger of the race, running 7th, up 11 positions. Basically being lucky enough to be on the outside lane when all hell broke loose on the inside. Nicholas Daly trying to work around Jason Owens. Oh, and he's going to loop it! Slides it off the racetrack. That was fortuitous timing on the camera switch. Daly goes off the racetrack. He's going to lose a couple of positions, falling back now to 13th. Good Lord, this is abject insanity going on here. Jason Owens now going to have to try to fight off Jeremy Rogers. Owens is up 9 spots. Jason's gotten much better on the road courses, but we haven't seen these kind of top 10 performances. Doing it tonight through attrition, this really is a chance to try to put on a show here for some of these guys.
Yeah, this is awesome. It's cool seeing a lot of guys you don't really see up front running in amazing positions right now. It's been a while since we've seen guys like Michael Haller, who in earlier seasons was a frequent guest on the podium, back up there where he belongs.
Good Lord, this could be an episode of Arca Break Weekly at this rate. Rod Eskew still holding off Russ Addy. The gap's about 0.8 of a second here. We'll stay on this battle. The fight for the lead sitting right about the same distance apart here. I'll call it 0.6. So show some of the guys that we don't normally get to show. And James, we're still 5 laps from halfway.
Lord, it feels like we already had an entire race worth of action.
Yeah, it's almost like we need to just press pause, everybody go grab a beer, and then we'll settle in for the actual PM18 race that's about to start. John Beta for having a brief off-track incident, but he's back in the 17th position right now. Things heating up at the front. Graham Sanders, Ed Samborski. Neither one of these drivers is in championship contention. And I'll tell you what, for John Betafer, this is now 2 of the 4 drop weeks. Because if he's only going to finish, even if he improves a little bit up to 14th, 13th, that's not the kind of finish that's going to put you up towards the front for a championship here. The highest running driver in points right now, actually everybody leading in points was involved in that. Ted Burns, John Betafer, Everett Paddock, David Porcelli, and Chris Preston. The entire top 5 is running 15th to 20th right now.
You can't write this shit, ladies and gentlemen.
6th place in points, Nicholas Daly currently runs 13th. Kylo Ciacelli is going to benefit the most from this. He is 7th in points, but almost 400 out of the lead. He's currently running in the 5th position.
Given everything we've seen so far this evening, wouldn't it be crazy if these two took themselves out? I feel like it would actually not be crazy, because I feel like it would just be par for the course with the other.
I was going to say it would not be off-brand for the way that this race has started. Now I have to watch the SOF race tomorrow afternoon. What's that on? Raceverse? Race Spot?
If I remember correctly, I don't think the European SOF is being broadcasted this season.
Oh, man. We might have to do that one.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. I could be in-car reporter.
Oh, man, that could be fun. Completely different field of cars. So lap number 12 going on the scoreboard now. Graham Sanders leading Ed Samborski by 1/4 of a second. Team Geodesic still with 1 car towards the front of the field. Yeah, here's the comment. Drop week for some, great week for others. I don't know that this brings Graham Sanders up towards championship contention, but there's certainly something there. Rod Eskew, Kylo Ciacelli, Russ Addy battling. This is 5th, 6th, and 7th on the racetrack. It's really going to be interesting to watch how Kylo is able to drive that car. He's only up 1. The 2 cars ahead of him are both up 11. They were multiple tenths slow in qualifications. But passing somebody on this racetrack is going to be a much, much different story.
Trying to get a closer look at Kylo's car to make sure he doesn't have damage.
I tell you what, the front of the car looks pretty good.
I don't know. It could, I don't think so. I think he's got a little bit of front wing damage because if you go back to the front wing, you could see there's a little bit of wrinkling, a little bit of paint right there. See how it's kind of bent down?
Oh,
Yeah,
and he makes
he's got wing
contact.
damage. And he adds to it right there.
Yeah, it makes contact with Russ Addy on corner entry. He was definitely involved with that big incident on lap number 2. Battle for the lead staying tight here. You wonder, is Ed Samborski, is he just waiting to make the shot here on Graham Sanders?
I don't know what's going on anymore.
Yeah. James over here dropping, what do the kids call them, dank memes in the PM18 Discord. Oh, that's fantastic. So Kylo Ciacelli still going to work on Rosati. And this really goes to show, even with that little bit of damage, a faster car should be able to pass. It's just a matter of finding a place. There's really not many chances here. Maybe that explains a little bit that lap 1 incident with Ted Burns and John Bedifer. You had to take the shot while you had it.
Yep. We all know why the move was made, but yeah.
Yeah, not good. I'll say it that way. Could we see multiple protests here out of this SOF race? Maybe one for the start.
You get a protest. Everyone gets a protest.
Oh my God, Oprah joining us in the booth. Hello, Miss Winfrey. Thanks for hanging out with us here tonight. Taking a look back through the field here, among the cars that came to pit road, starting with Frank Wynn all the way back through David Porcelli in 20th, no gain over the cars that were not involved or at least were able to stay out on the racetrack. Nicholas Daly is the last running of the cars that stayed on the racetrack, currently in the 13th position. Frank Wynn currently 33 seconds behind Daly as well, so it's going to be a pretty big gap to make up here late in this race. Fastest lap of the race belongs to John Bedifer in 16th at a 1:05.006. These two at the front of the field still in the 105s, up in the 0.2, 0.3 range, so they haven't given a lot up in terms of raw pace here just yet.
Yeah, not quite, really.
This is one of those racetracks it feels like the drivers are going to hate and say never, ever go back there again for the officials. I'm going to beg the community managers, please, dear Lord, keep this on the schedule, or at least in the rotation.
I agree 1,000 billion%.
We get to see a lot of the same tracks repeated across the iRacing platform. Spa, Silverstone, Red Bull Ring, Nordschleife. There's a handful that they're just the regulars, and those are the racetracks that bring the bigger participation numbers. I'll tell you what, we had 40 cars in 2 splits for this race here tonight. I don't know that you go to total oddballs like the New Hampshire North Roval. But some of these places, like, Summit Point, what is it? Oh my God, Australia, Phillip Island that we have?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go to some of those places. There is a lot of fun to be had challenging these drivers on tracks they don't normally visit.
I, for one, would love Camp Roval, but I'm one of the few.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's going to go over like a lead balloon in the comments.
Especially after what happened when Shock ran there last season. Speaking of Turn 1 Chaos, or Lap 1 Chaos.
Yes, but that series will be coming back here in just a couple of weeks. Starting February 1st, the TNT Shock Series returns. That is a mainly oval series once again. We're going to kick things off at Richmond Raceway. The PM18s on ovals are just fun. Hopefully all will be able to tune in and join us for that one. Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock, I believe. I want to say 9 o'clock. Could be wrong on that one. Keep your eye out for the schedule here when we get them back up on the coming soon card at the beginning of the show. Down inside of 10 laps to go now. Call it 9.5. Ed Samborski staying right on the tail of Graham Sanders. Good battle for position going on here between Kylo Ciacelli and Rosati. Still, Rosati able to hold off Ciacelli. Big dive up the inside by Kylo. He'll get the pass completed there. That switchback just looks so inviting to attempt the crossover, and it's just really not a good idea.
Really? What have we seen tonight that would give you the impression that that would not be a good idea?
I have no idea. So now this battle has settled down just slightly, as has the battle for the race lead. Addy thought about having a peek down there into turn number 1. The problem with the turn 1 pass, it almost feels like, is the corner is so incredibly long. You almost have to clear the pass on entry and then get back to the preferred line instead of making the pass through the corner.
Yeah, otherwise there's a high likelihood that you're side-by-side going through turn 2, and turn 2 isn't exactly a corner you want to be side-by-side. Not in these cars.
No, that is not a ton of fun no matter what way you slice it here. I'll tell you what, though, this fight between Sanders and Samborski, it has the potential to get a little bit wild as we get later on in this one.
Yeah, I believe Ed's just chilling for now.
Let's see. We're going to take one more look at that lap 1 incident here from a little bit different angle. Yeah, just so overly optimistic.
Yeah. Oh, God. Look.
It'll make for a fantastic screen cap, though. Here's the challenge for the race lead. Right as we come back to it, side by side through the S's, Samborski going to be up towards the inside, not able to complete the pass. The fact that the Discord comments are already lighting up with people not in the race, a bunch of absolute savages.
Oh my God, the meme that Dave Sparks made might be the greatest thing I've ever seen. That is incredible.
Oh, man, back to being side by side through turn number 1. Samborski's going to be there. See if he tries up the inside here into turn 2, the snapback left-hander. He's going to be there. Sanders a little bit wide. Oh, man, that is so gutsy by both of those drivers. Man, this is starting to get very, very good here at the front of the field as they'll come around. See the 5-finger salute from the start-finish line next time by. It'll be 5 to go here at Summit Point. I'll tell you what, the battle between Kylo Ciacelli and Russ Addy has not simmered at all. Full-on rolling ball there. This is the fight for the 6th position. But, man, you can't take your eyes off this fight for the lead. They have been nose to tail and side by side for the last 3 or 4 laps. Quickly back to the fight for 6th. Addy having to look inside of Ciacelli into turn 1. That's what we talked about. The pass was complete before they got there. Ciacelli tries to fight back. Stays right up on the rear wing. Oh, man, they're almost making contact again. Now the fuel tanks are starting to get a little low. The tires a little worn down. These things are going to start to get a little twitchy on these drivers.
Yeah, and they've already been pretty twitchy, so...
Oh, 3 laps to go. Where does the move come? It's going to come to the outside into turn number 1. Oh, man, Sanders forces Samborski wide. This feels like one of those deals where you can only pull the Tiger's tail so many times before the Tiger's just going to turn around and snap. Samborski is not going to back off in turn 1 like he did that time if we get down to 2 or 1 lap to go.
Yeah, if I was Michael Haller, I'd be keeping an eye on the relative just in case.
Yeah, really, we haven't shown the guy the entire race here. Your leader's coming down the front straightaway. Will sneak a quick peek at Michael Haller, running all by himself. Nobody around him. Leaders come down the front straightaway. 2 to go. We'll see if lap traffic comes into play. Samborski not close enough, but man, right up under the gearbox. Going to stay tucked right in the toe of Graham Sanders. You can almost feel the move coming into that left-hander.
You can feel something coming, that's for sure. God, this is so intense. I'm like almost eating my microphone. I'm leaning forward so much.
James Watson grabbing a snack here late race. One more right-hander to go. And they will see the white silk from the start-finish line. Lap traffic likely to be out of the way. White flag's out. 1 lap to go. Samborski a quarter of a second back at the line. These two have been going at it since the pace lap, when Samborski was trying to force Graham Sanders back up onto the pace car. Samborski going to have the look to the outside. He'll have the line into the right-hander if he's there. Not quite close enough. Was that the last chance for Samborski? Quickly down through the S's. Short run, they're going to have one more right-hander, and it looks like there will not be another attempt for Ed Samborski. Final corner, twin checkers in the air. Graham Sanders gets the win here at Summit Point. Ed Samborski comes home second. And here's Mike Haller. Haven't talked about him, haven't said much of a thing. But good run, Mike Haller. Coming off the final corner, he'll come across the line to claim third. He gained 7 on most nights. That would make him hard charger. Tonight, he's not even close. Off the final corner, Russ Addy going to come home 5th and be your hard charger for the night, up 13 positions from the drop of the green flag. Oh, my goodness. Good run, Jason Owens, picking up a top 10. Simon fell across the line in 11th. Jeremy Rogers, Nicholas Daly will be the last car to cross the start-finish line to end tonight's Indy Pro 2000 Championship Strength of Field race. It certainly didn't feel like one. It did in the end. The battles at the end most certainly felt like it, but not early on in this one. Let's show you the race results, and these will absolutely blow your mind if you missed the first couple of laps here. Graham Sanders getting the win over Ed Samborski, Mike Haller, Nagisa Yoshikawa, and Russ Addy for the top 5. Kylo Ciacelli, Mike Carpenter, Rod Eskew, Brian Labarge, and Jason Owens complete your top 10. Simon Fell, Jeremy Rogers, Nicholas Daly finishing as the last cars on the lead lap. Ted Burns, the first car, 1 lap down in 14th. Frank Wynn coming home tonight in the 15th position. 16th going to belong to John Betafer. 17th to Chris Preston. 18th, John Carlos Schooler. 19th to Everett Paddock. And 20th, David Porcelli. You are reading that right. The entire top 5 in points finishing between 14th and 20th here this evening. That is absolutely unreal.
Like, I've got no words. to describe what we witnessed tonight. That was
Wild. Wild is the only word that I can come up with. Let's kick.
unbelievable.
Good Lord. Not the race I thought we were going to get. That is for sure. I saw 5 or 6 cars battling like absolute dogfight for 28 laps. Instead, we got it for about 6 corners. But let's kick off our Victory Lane interviews tonight here with our race winner, Graham Sanders. Oh, man, Graham, where do we even start this? The battle between you and Ed Samborski started on the pace lap. It seemed like you were wanting to give a little space to the pace car. Ed wanted to be right up on it, and you guys fought like dogs for 28 laps.
Oh, yeah, to say the least. That was some of the most intense racing that I've taken part in. That was he was right on me. I mean, you're right from the very beginning. I think there might have been like a second and a half from that first lap incident. And yeah, within 5 laps, he was easily within drafting distance, and he was right on my diffuser, and it wasn't easy to hold him off. That's for sure.
What did you see of that lap 1 incident? Obviously, it took place behind you, but the way the corners kind of wrap around, not sure what you may have seen either out of a peek in VR or a side monitor, or not sure what your rig setup is like, but did you have any perception of what was going on back there, or did you just see the relative grenade?
I saw the relative, and I saw my mirror. I just saw a pile of about 10 cars and a bunch of smoke. I'm going to be watching the replay here shortly, but yeah, it was I'm a little it kind of sucks that it happened, because I was going to be probably a 6-7 car train the whole race, because I think the queue times, I think the top 6 were within a tenth and a half or so it was going to be a really tight race. Yeah, not quite sure what happened.
We were looking forward to the big battle. Ultimately, we got one between you and Ed. What are your thoughts on the racetrack here? Obviously, it's a great track to hot lap. We thought it was a great track for the racing, other than that lap 1 incident. What are your thoughts here about seeing this place come back on the official schedule?
I personally love this track. I think it's one of the more underrated tracks. People think of it as just an unknown track, small, really technical, and I guess it scares people away usually. But I love this track. It's great to race in most cars, if they're not too fast, But no, for these cars, it is a blast.
All right, Graham. Well, congratulations once again on picking up the win here in the Indy Pro 2000 Championship Strength of Field race. Ton of fun watching you. Let's make sure we get all those plugs and thank yous in before we let you out of here.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, guys. I'd just like to thank all the guys at Geodesic, all the sponsors, GoPro, GSI, Wave Italy, all those guys. And, of course, as always, you guys do a great job with the broadcast, and I will be watching it after this. Thank you, guys.
All right, Graham, thank you very much here. Let's bring in our runner-up, get his perspective on things, Ed Samborski. And I'll tell you what, Ed, we asked Graham about the initial start of the race, and it seemed like you two were locked into a big battle there the entire race. What was going through your head there on the pace lap? It seemed like Graham wanted to slow things down. You wanted to be a whole lot closer to the pace car, and it was game on before we even saw the green flag.
You guys are going to laugh at this, all right? So I usually drive the Formula Renault 3.5. So obviously it's a standing start. There's no pace car. Well, in my mind, I thought I was going to get black flagged if I wasn't close to the pace car. So I'm like, what is everyone doing? And then Ted's like, what are you doing? Like, you're fine. Just back off. I'm like, oh, okay. So that was just an experience. I mean, I haven't ran an oval race in like 2 years. And then I got to say, I mean, Graham, he drove an excellent race. Not to discredit him, I think we had a little bit more pace in our car, but it just wasn't really in the right places. I mean, you could see me just wheeling it through the corners, absolutely borderline crashing, and I just couldn't get close enough. And even on the brakes, I mean, when you start a car and a half length behind trying to outbrake a guy, it's just not going to happen. But, I didn't want to just ride around in second. I thought, maybe there's a chance he'll run wide, dip a tire off, and I can get a run. And I got a little too aggressive towards the end of the race. I should have just played it calm and went for a pass around the outside coming down the hill. And I didn't think about it. I was asking the teammates, I'm like, well, how do I get around this guy? He's pulling me down the straights. And I told him, well, you can try the outside. So the final lap, I went for it. And due to my inexperience with the car, I was just a little too tentative. I probably could have made it stuck, but I don't know. I mean, it's not worth it. It was a good battle, great fun to watch. Me and Graham are happy. So on to next week,
Well, it was an absolutely wild show that you two put on. Let's get your thoughts on this. We just asked the same question to Graham. On this track returning as an official venue, what are your thoughts on it? Obviously, it's a great place to hot lap. We thought the racing from the booth, the racing looked really good at the front. What are your thoughts on it here? Because it is technical. It can be a little difficult to pass, but ultimately you guys still put on a hell of a show at the front.
I absolutely enjoy technical tracks, so I'm biased towards that. So we'll just lay that out on the line. And I really enjoyed this particular combo. I'm not sure what suits this car. I've driven it for 2 weeks, and I've driven one other track. I mean, I have a handful of hours compared to all these guys, and I'm just continually trying to learn and get up to speed as best I can. I will say that it is really fun. And if you have two guys that are level-headed, I think you can have an absolute blast. I mean, we were obviously on different downforce levels. It was clear. I mean, just by straightaway pace and the fact I couldn't make any ground on the straightaway. And I mean, what did it matter in the end? 0.2 of a second?
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible race that you guys put on. I got to say a huge thank you for coming in to chat with us here in the booth, and let's make sure we get all your sponsor plugs and thank yous in before we let you out of here.
Absolutely have to thank VRS and Apex. I use their wheelbase. I thoroughly enjoy it. I belong to their setup schools and all that. My pace is a direct result of their coaching and learnings over the year. I have to absolutely thank Ted. I'm teammates with Ted. I must have to send him a livery because it wouldn't load. I ran the same livery as him, but my car was green. So obviously something's interesting there I have to look at. And he's been coaching me on the car because this is exactly the opposite of the 3.5. You have to drive it completely different. So for me, it's been a steep learning curve, but the car is a blast. I absolutely love it. It's fun to be able to slide around. It's fun to not have to be on pins and needles and have the car perfectly set. You can have little errors. You can let off the brake a little bit too much, and the community seems great. So I got to thank them guys. No one had said a bad word to me so far, so thank everyone. Thank you guys for doing the broadcast. This is fun.
All right, Ed, thank you very much. We appreciate you checking in here. And let's bring up our third-place finisher tonight, guy we haven't talked to in a while. Mike Holler, how the heck have you been? Congratulations on gaining 7 spots, avoiding Turn 1 chaos, and coming home third here tonight.
Yeah, thanks. It's definitely been a while, and really glad to have a podium position. I was in 5th place, I was in 5th lap, and I looked down at the relative. I'm like, really, 3rd? And then I wanted to keep putting it in and catching 1st and 2nd, but the guys just said turn the engine down and sit pretty. But
that was. Let me ask you your thoughts here. What you saw on lap 1? Obviously, all hell broke loose in front of you. What was the thought process going through your head there when that all started to go nuts?
I was all prepared to leave a nice gap through that section because it's treacherous with so many cars there. I've seen a lot. I've seen some things. And I left a gap kind of intentionally because you can gain time there, but like not on the first lap. Everyone's going to be just rolling through there, and I kind of took that approach and saw the smoke up ahead and realized, well, yeah, this is bad. I can go on the inside or the outside, and looked like all the clustering was way on the inside, and maybe people would drive away there. So just sent it in the grass on the outside. I didn't even get a 1X for it because I was going slow enough, I guess. And so So I had a perfectly clean race despite having to cut some lawn.
Yeah, we're having a look here at the incident developing in front of you on your in-car. So much ARCA brakes there. My goodness. It's kind of funny you're talking about it. It was like the seas parted for you, getting you to the outside. At that point, what goes through your head as a driver where you're looking at, okay, there's nobody close to me. This place is fun to hot lap, but how do you keep your concentration for 27 laps of almost nothing?
I definitely lost it there in the middle. To I was just maintaining position, and I was realizing I started to go, because this is a track you can push pretty. You can push hard on, or you can back off on, and you don't really notice it. You feel like you're on the edge a lot of the time because it's all about rear balance and getting around, especially in the twisty bits. I noticed my pace was dropping off a little bit, a couple tenths here and there, because I was watching relative to Nagisa, and I just turned on my Delta and sort of best session lap, and then raced 2 or 3 tenths off that every lap. So it was a lot to maintain concentration. I got I almost got distracted a little bit in the middle, and towards the end it was like, yep, got the groove back, and gonna finish. I was just watching the relative up front to see if there'd be another. I'm glad there's not, but it definitely crossed the mind.
All right, Mike. Well, thank you very much for checking in with us here. Great performance tonight. A very nice save. In fact, you were flat sideways coming out of that mess on lap 1. Ultimately coming home with a very, very solid third-place finish tonight. Congratulations on that. Let's make sure we get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous in here before you're gone, too.
Yeah, I want to thank Valerie, my partner, who's probably watching this, and also thank Citizens Climate Lobby, which I haven't had probably an opportunity to do in maybe 10, 12 weeks. It's been a while since I've been here, and hope to do it more. But there's just so much depth at the top of the field. They're doing good work with climate lobbying and awareness here to try to get some good change for us, and happy to be running that on my car.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. We appreciate you checking in here. And James, as we get ready to close things out here, the points have updated. And, oh, buddy, things are getting hot now. What was a 4-car battle is absolutely 5, maybe 6, if you include Nagisa Yoshikawa. John Badafer is your new points leader at 1,065 points. Ted Burns falls 1 to second at 1,061, so we've got a 4-point difference between 1 and 2. David Porcelli up to third at 973. Everett Paddock back down to the 4th position at 954. Graham Sanders jumps all the way to 5th at 803 points. The biggest loser on the night was Chris Preston. He falls 3 spots back to 8th behind Nagisa Yoshikawa and Nicholas Daly. It's 300 points separating 1st through 8th in the point standings here as we're at the halfway point of the season. That was wild. Absolutely insane what we saw tonight. What are your thoughts here as we get ready to wrap things up?
I'm pretty sure I've already talked about my thoughts. I don't have any thoughts. I don't know what to think. Like that race is so batshit insane. You're not expecting to see that happen at all. I'm just in awe of what we witnessed, and not necessarily in a good way.
Checking some of the comments here. Dave Sparks saying that one was a nail-biter for sure. Alex Mariani giving a little love for Mike Collar. Thank you very much for checking in. Jeremy Rogers saying he got a front wing ding in the first lap fracas. I was complete dog meat in any kind of aero wash. David Porcelli checking in saying innocent bystander. Giving a little bit of a shot across the bow of Ed Samborski, but I don't think go back and check the replay there, David. It was more the incident between, was it John Badafer and Ted Burns that really set that whole thing off. And the reality of it is there was some net code that was involved in that too. There was going to be contact one way or the other. It's just on our screen we did not see it as actual contact. That I guess my take there, James, was even without the net code, there is not a chance those two cars were making that corner.
Yeah, it was ending in tears no matter what was happening.
Yeah, that was seeing the comments. Can we redo that race, please? Man, that was fun. And we've got some great racetracks coming up here as well. Richmond Raceway next week to kick off the second half of 2022 Season 1. Following it up with Interlagos, Charlotte Motor Speedway on the Roval, the Red Bull Ring, Iowa Speedway, and then we close out the season at Road Atlanta. There are a ton of very, very fun racetracks coming up here over the next 6 weeks.
I can't.
Yeah, oh, this is going to be awesome. All right, let's get the hay out of here. Long night of broadcast excellence, mediocrity, somewhere in between. But, man, this one was a fantastically fun night. Big run out of the Grid Rival Ezra IndyCar Series tonight. The Indy Pro 2000 Championship managed to step that race up by a couple dozen notches or so. We'll be back on Monday night with the Silver Crowns heading off to Phoenix Raceway. Follow it up on Tuesday with Tear It Up Tuesday presented by Snydersville Raceway. Heading to the Big E Eldora Speedway. The Sim Racers Club running Wednesday in the NASCAR Xfinity Series cars at Auto Club Speedway. Then we're at Road America, Las Vegas Motor Speedway next week for the Grid Rival Ezra IndyCar Series finale and the Richmond Raceway for the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. A lot of action coming up here over the next 7 days. We can't wait to bring it all to you live. For James Watson and everybody here at the National Racing Network, my name is Chris Graham. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you. We will talk to you all soon. Have a good night, everybody.